All right, welcome back to the rebooted Players Only podcast.
Hell yeah.
To start off the show, I can take a little victory lap. You remember talking about the debt ceiling last week?
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, I thought it was no big deal. Thought it would get figured out. Sure enough, day or two. We're doing this Monday night. Sure enough, day or two ago, it got figured out.
For the most part.
Yeah. There's even people were even saying like student loans is going to be like the forgiveness is going to be affected. Like they're saying something like now that this was done the way it is, we might be another sign that they're going to not be forgiven.
Yeah, probably. I feel like from the little bit I heard with the Supreme Court case and stuff going on, it sounded like that wasn't going too well. So that probably was just like a given on Biden's part. Just hey, let's just throw this in there. And that way it's dead in the water, and that way I can kind of like just shrug and be like, I tried, um, type of thing.
Yeah.
um, But I did hear a lot of Republicans aren't too happy with this deal going forward. I don't think they have officially voted on it. I think that's supposed to happen tomorrow. And it's all over Zoom, which is awesome that our government's using Zoom. So it'll be kind of interesting to see some of the drama that comes out of it for sure.
Yeah. If you're all about the drama.
Oh, all day. All day.
So yeah, staying with politics. Coinbase, the actual app, had an article titled something like Ron DeSantis on his Ron DeSantis tells Elon Musk that if Joe Biden wins, Bitcoin will die. Kind of loaded statement there, and yeah, you kind of had the same reaction as me. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, back in 2021, Bitcoin was at its all-time high, and correct me if I'm
Yep.
wrong, but I believe Biden was in office at that time, right?
Yep.
um,
Correct.
so yeah, I think that was obviously just trying to get certain people to vote for him. Got any kind of
I feel like with DeSantis, it's so complicated, right? Because there's so much of the controversial stuff going on in Florida, which it's like he has a fucking war in his backyard with his state, with all the old people kind of backing him, and all the younger people saying, "What the fuck is going on?" Disney's attacking him, and then he says stuff. It's almost like he's trying to be a more political Trump rather than the reality star Trump. Um,
so
it, it,
yeah. That's just like one thing that you did do recently that was a little like I felt like it was just for headlines. The whole Florida already banning central bank digital currencies. It'd be
uh,
if the bank like the USD coin, that
you
is in crypto. Yeah, if like the bank could control that. I thought that was a little
right,
silly because again it's not even a real thing yet. I'm sure someone in the government's maybe studying it,
mm-hmm,
positive or negative effects it could have, but yeah,
right,
I just thought banning it was silly and just a waste of
right. And
time.
it's like this guy. He leads like one of the most disastrous states, right? Whenever there's a crazy story in the news, the big joke is, "Hey, where did this happen?" 9 times out of 10, Florida. Um,
Yeah,
they're banning books down there. They have the crazy parties and stuff, but then there's a shit ton of old people. And now they got the immigration stuff going on there, and so like the truckers are refusing to even like pick anything up from there. You see those really funny videos where it's like the immigrants left, and now we got to do the roofing ourselves, and they're doing awful jobs. it's literally like the wild wild west down there right now.
Yeah.
So it's, and then I did see that he like officially put in his name for presidency
Yep.
coming up here too.
Yep.
So
On
that
Twitter. Yeah.
yeah, after calling out Elon Musk and stuff. So it's it's going to be a really interesting year as far as the election goes for sure. So
Yeah. For
yeah,
people,
cool.
I guess people like you that are all about that drama, it'll be interesting. One thing though, again, I thought it was kind of silly. He banned central bank digital currencies when they're not even out yet. That being
Right.
said, I don't support them as a crypto guy. Obviously, I can see the downside. Like, I don't ever want, you know, the example people always give. You go to the gas station, you get gas, and they say, "Oh, you can only fill your car up once this week because
Yep.
of the environment," and then you're blocked because the government can see all that and control
Mm-hmm.
it. Um, but yeah, any thoughts on that, or we'll move on?
I think the controlling part is something that I hate in general, right? To kind of put it into more layman's terms and stuff like that, everybody had the uproar with like Netflix, right? With the password sharing and then to charge extra for to share your password with somebody.
Yeah,
Um, I haven't made a video for this, and I'm sure that my video will be out on my YouTube. That I'm going to Alaska here for a little over 30 days. And if I do have access to Wi-Fi, I'm going to want to use my Netflix. Well, if I'm not connected to my home Wi-Fi within
no,
20 something days, I don't have access to my own Netflix account that I pay for. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like the same thing, right? I'm not going to have access to something that I pay for because it's saying, hey, you can only do this if you're in this location, right? So I think limiting something that you pay for no matter what or that you have assets in is stupid. And just it doesn't also make sense in the long run of things. It's your money. Use it how you want to.
yeah,
Just like with my sports betting take. Hey, it's my life. If I want to ruin it,
yeah,
let me go sports bet.
yeah,
There's some limitations on things that can be actually like harmful to your health. That okay, like peyote or whatever. Our money really, you're either gonna lose it or you're gonna make a shit ton of it. You can't take it with you, right?
mm-hmm. No, I just forgot what I was gonna say. But oh yeah. So back to the Netflix thing. So
Yep.
if you need to be on, you get 20 days.
It's
You
like
need to,
20 to 30.
oh my god. At first, when you said that, I thought they were being like, oops, thought they were being like Hulu, where you can only, you have to be on the home Wi-Fi. You can have unlimited streams, but it has to be on the home Wi-Fi. Hulu, the live sports one. Or am I
Oh,
making
yep,
that
yep,
up?
yep. No, if yeah, because you have to be within like your zip code for it. But that's only if you're using devices other than a mobile phone. If you're using your mobile phone, then you can have unlimited streams for the sports stuff. You'll just be connected to your whatever your zip code is when you put it in. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, you got me a little worried there. So like, fuck, I pay for Hulu, and I'm going to be using Hulu for for
Yeah.
NFL next year. So,
But are you gonna be on the go?
uh, well, Sundays I'll mainly be home anyway, so it
Oh.
is what it is. But I mean, if I am, let's just say, in Alaska till October, I better be able to watch my fucking game. So,
All right. So sticking kind of with Elon Musk, or as you brought up with that meeting with Ron DeSantis, Neuralink was in the news. So I forgot, FDA or whoever announced that they could start doing the testing on humans. Are you You're gonna keep your eyes on that. Like now that they can put like the thing that attaches to brain tissue, and
Yep.
they can actually test it on someone.
I'll keep my eye on it for sure. Um, I don't know if you saw that crazy story come out about like the Bluetooth for the dude that couldn't walk, and then now he can walk with the Bluetooth and for a couple extra things along because he had like some kind of spinal accident.
No.
Um, so yeah, no, I mean it's a crazy story that nobody really is talking about, which is really
Well, it's
weird.
because it's a good thing, right?
So you know,
Can't say
and
good things
a
on
lot
the
of
internet and expect attention.
right, and I feel like there could be a lot of bad with the Neuralink type of stuff, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of the sci-fi conspiracy things, but there could be a lot of good that could come out of it too. So it's definitely something I want to keep an eye on because that's where our society is going. So um, it'll be interesting for sure. If it okay, let's say it's like all good, right? It's almost everything it says it can be to an extent,
Like
obviously.
clears disabilities, yeah.
Clears disabilities, and maybe you can have like this full-on like network thing going in your brain. You can access a little bit more of your brain power, whatever, right?
Yeah.
FDA, everything is on the up and up. Would you want to do it?
No. No. I don't want my head opened up and then right, like the millions of conspiracy theories, like what if they start changing how you think?
Yep.
What if what if you're just replaced with AI? Some of this technology does that. Like
Right.
getting kind of crazy, but right, it's again maybe if I was disabled and I wanted to be able to
Yep.
walk again, okay, why not try it? As long as the price
What
isn't
about
too crazy, but yeah,
for sure? What about like the potential chance, right, to use because we use like 10% of our brain
yeah,
at a time, right? What if they even said like you get an extra 2%, right? 12% brain power, you know, uh, put the disability stuff kind of to the side, right? But you get a little bit of additional like the brain power, right? So you're doing what you can do, but you can access more of your brain. Yeah, I don't know. I
but
feel
do you
like
need more of your brain? I
maybe,
mean,
you know,
think of all the people out there that just drink and destroy their
you know,
brain, smoke their brain away. I don't know. At the same time, maybe you get rid of the
yeah.
drugs, and you won't lose
Oh,
your
for sure.
brain power.
All right, but I mean, for you and me, right? We don't, for the most part, we don't drink, right? On the occasional that we do,
Yeah,
we don't smoke or anything like
yeah.
that.
So we're already
For
smarter than a bunch of people.
100%. But right, you and I are like here on the smartness thing, right? I feel like you're definitely a little bit higher than me on the smartness thing, uh, and stuff. Hey, we were in plenty of college classes. I can say that together. So, but
Where's
just think
Jackson on the spectrum?
at the bottom, 100%. Uh, but just think if you can go from here, right, and then all of a sudden you have this Neuralink, and then you're up here,
Yeah.
and you make yourself look like a fucking Elon Musk compared to
Yeah.
Jackson or whatever. Just think if you could get almost to the intellect that Elon Musk is, if not even higher. I mean, I feel like that would be crazy. For all the hate that he gets, he's a ridiculously smart guy. You can't fault him on that.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
if I
I
could
think
get
even more telling to him than smart is just hardworking. When you're
100%,
working 16-hour days, you know,
you know,
you're gonna get a
right.
whole lot done.
That and you're gonna learn a lot as you go too,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So it's you can put in the work, but are you ever gonna get as smart as Elon Musk? With all the engineering and invention, whatever. Probably not. But I mean, if you could reach the Elon Musk level of intellect with just this little chip, Let's say even for a grand or two, you wouldn't want to take it.
No. No. I'm just too paranoid that I don't know. It's just that
Yeah,
the possible negative would way outdo the good. What
for
about you?
sure.
Would you do it for 2% more brain
I
power?
mean, I would really have to think about it, right? Yeah, I watch a lot of the sci-fi, and
So
so
you're paranoid
that's a
too.
hard thing. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But if you ever saw the movie Limitless, right? He takes that little pill, he gets a little bit more of his brain power, and just gets way more stuff done, gets rich, blah blah blah. I mean, oof, that's a hard thing to potentially turn down. Now, granted, that's sci-fi too.
Yeah.
It could go the opposite way. If you get that brain power, you could just be a dumbass. It could work on the opposite spectrum of it too. So I mean, I would have to see the results, right? I would have to see the experimentation come out, but man,
Yeah.
it could be really cool though.
Yeah, and I do think I've seen stuff in the past like early on, this was mainly targeted at people with disabilities, right? Like what you talked about, who can't walk or don't have an arm that works, or um, yeah, just disabilities, or
Mm-hmm.
even if they can't see and now they um, can't hear. Like yeah, if they can do stuff like that, it'll be great. And again, I think people that have those kind of disabilities, why not take a shot? Because then I think the
Definitely.
reward outweighs the risk. But yeah,
No, for sure, definitely.
we'll see what happens. And next for sports, I guess we can hit on DeAndre Hopkins again. Released on Friday, a few days
Yep.
after this podcast. At the time of filming this, Monday night, he has not signed with a team. I guess according to you, he spent a little time here in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen articles today. The Lions are a team that has money and could give him his full pay. Deep down, I still think it's between Buffalo and Kansas City because he wants to win. And then you got Adam Pac-Man Jones on the Pat McAfee show all summer. He's been talking about those two teams as kind of the big two, and he says he's kind of in D Hop's camp.
Sure.
Someone he talks to. So if I had to predict, it would be between Buffalo and Kansas City, and I still think somehow Buffalo brings him in. What about you? Where do you think he's going? What are you hearing?
For sure. For anybody watching this, right, and you want to know, like, fantasy wise, if this is something, we just did a live stream earlier at the time of this recording. Definitely go watch that. We did talk about this quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, actually, too. So it's pretty early in the live stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's definitely something I'm going to want to clip to put on, like, some, like, TikTok or something like that, too. So search that out for sure if you want to know fantasy wise. But just strictly football speaking, I didn't really think about the Lions, but I feel like that would actually be a really good fit for him because of what he would want to be. He'd want to be one of the top guys there.
Yeah.
And you got Amon Ra, who is a really, really, really promising young talent. But he's going to need some kind of vet, right, to kind of guide him along. So I would like to see that. The only problem is Jared Goff, who can be really good and sometimes cannot
Yeah.
be that great. So that would probably be the only thing that's holding that back. I don't mind the fact that if he went to the Chiefs or Buffalo, Buffalo is probably going to need somebody if Diggs throws his temper tantrum again. But even just to have another target so Diggs isn't getting triple teamed all the time. So if they can make the cap work, great. I feel like they're really against the cap. It's been a while since I looked at that.
That's the thing. Buffalo and Kansas City, right? They would have a cap issue, salary cap issue.
But you get somebody really solid like D Hop, who, when healthy, is in the conversation for a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, for sure. It's definitely something to kind of look at. It's more, hey, how much longer does he want to play? Because injuries is an issue, and how much money are you going to try to pay him? Because Odell just got what, 16 million a year
It was like
for the 1 year,
15, but with incentives, it can go up to 18.
right? So he's gonna say, hey, I'm better than Odell. You got to pay me probably 18 to 20,
Right.
which is expensive. It's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, there was some talks that he was here in Minneapolis, right? They got plenty of pictures of him here at the airport, and walking around in Minneapolis. I don't like him here. There's just too many weapons already as it is.
Yeah.
And the Vikings need to focus more on the defensive side. Our offense is pretty set.
Right.
Uh, Offensively, the only thing I would want more of is O-line, just because the O-line is 50-50 on if it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And Kirk got hit, I think, the most out of all the quarterbacks in the league last year. So, we just don't need the weapons, and we don't have the cap for it either. So, it just doesn't make sense for him to be a Viking. So yeah.
So sticking with sports, Heat versus Celtics. I can see. So Game 7 is happening as we're recording this. The Heat have a 94 to 73 point lead with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So I think we can say the Heat won. Your man Jimmy Butler will be playing in another finals. Are you happy with the results?
I'm happy for two reasons, right?
Yep.
For one of the reasons, well, two of the reasons that we talked about last week. Jimmy Butler, favorite player. You see him go to the finals, that's always a good feeling. But it also just shows for a team here in Minnesota, the Timberwolves, how stupid we were to just let him go.
Yeah.
Right? He was telling you exactly what was wrong here in Minnesota, and nobody wanted to listen to him, even though you and I were screaming, hey, he knows what's going on. Let's listen. Everybody was just like, no, just trade him. He's toxic, right?
And one of those things, Cat isn't a winner. Right. And now all these years later, no playoff series wins.
Who's been in the finals.
Yeah, twice now. And you can say, oh, well, he's doing it in the East. Still, the easier conference, but still. That you got to go through Milwaukee, the Bucks, and Giannis, and then both times they beat the Boston in the conference finals. Well, again, as long as they hold on to the 20-point lead they got right now.
And Timberwolves made it to the playoffs for the first time in almost 20 years because of Jimmy Butler. Not because of Cat, So there's a lot to say about that. Now, as kind of you said last week, Joker, Jimmy Butler, while they're amazing for fantasy, especially Joker, obviously, maybe not the most flashiest players, but you do have more or less the two of the best players in the league going up against each other, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I think your Heat are in trouble though. I'll be taking Denver in the finals. Are you? Let's say the Heat hang on and win. Are you picking the Heat?
No, unfortunately.
Picking a team from Denver, Colorado.
You can't. That's the thing, man. You just can't count Joker out. He's just too good. Jokic is just way too good, man. As much as I love Jimmy Butler, there was no way I was going to pick the Heat when you asked me a couple weeks ago who I thought was going to make it. Right?
Oh, right.
I just didn't think they would make it this far as it is, right?
Right.
And then here's uh, Boston, who I picked to win it all, and they just fumbled the ball. So, um, I gotta go with Joker just because he is easily
Were you
probably the
nervous?
best player.
Were you nervous when in before Game 7 that Heat were gonna lose this away?
Uh, I was kind of more excited about the fact that we could finally have a team down 0-3 and going to a Game 7 to have to be up and actually win a series, right?
Yeah.
Never has happened in NBA history, so it'd be history in the making for
Yeah.
a team that I picked. So that would have been cool. That give me a little bit of bragging rights there. For somebody who doesn't know a ton as far as with basketball, but you got to go with Joker, man.
Yep.
You just got to.
Also in
Um,
the basketball headline, NBA headlines, Lonzo Ball, a whole bunch of articles, TikTok saying now he's probably never gonna play again. Uh, so for some context, Austin here, 2 fantasy seasons ago, took him.
well,
I should have checked what round, and then he got hurt midway through the season. They were always like, "Oh, one more week, one more week, one more week." Well, here we
never
are,
played.
a year and a half later, and yeah, that was probably his last game. and, uh,
And man,
and I'll say too, in fantasy basketball, I did take him this year, which was a bust, but I
yeah,
took him in the 12th round. So we got
right,
9 starters. I had my starters, a couple of good backups. He was just a late. If he if it works out, it works out. If he doesn't play, then oh well.
right. But he did take up that spot for most of the season. I think you dropped him eventually, but uh,
Yeah, yeah, I did. He
yeah,
sat on my
but
IR the
he's
whole year, and then I dropped him.
you know so the Ball family in general just kind of annoys me. So,
Yeah, they were
but
more
I
relevant.
can't say them.
If they were more relevant, like now they're not really. But if they were, yeah, I could roast them because they were worse years ago.
Right.
Um,
So I can't say I'm surprised. I guess.
and then otherwise, I guess last thing on the NBA, there's a whole lot of rumors about one of my favorite players, James Harden, on where he'll
Okay.
go. It's kind of between uh, Houston and like 76ers.
Hmm.
Uh, that being said, I'm kind of cheering for the 76ers. I hope he stays there. Because I don't need to see him as old as he is go back to Houston.
Hmm.
And also, it'd be really awkward because he originally left Houston a few years ago because he purposely came into camp overweight and wasn't playing his best. So I feel like it'd be kind of
Yeah.
weird a guy that just quit on you to bring him back.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see that.
yeah,
Um, as somebody who has taken on for fantasy basketball the last 2 years,
yeah.
if he goes to the 76ers, is he still going to be somebody that you're going to want to pick?
Well, that's the thing. I would argue, right? It's since he's around less talent in Houston, or would be around less talent in Houston, he'd get the ball more and he'd be worth more.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess it's all about kind of where he falls. I don't. Yeah, like he's kind of a second round. He's kind of like an early second. He's not a first anymore. For if we're talking
Right.
like an 18 league,
Hmm.
mid to early second. I don't think I'll be picking there. If he falls to me,
Hmm.
it'll be hard. It'll be hard not to pick him.
Right. Because you're probably going to pick close to the first overall,
Yeah,
especially because we'll just make a whole new league and whatnot. You'll be in charge of it, so you might as well just take the first overall.
Joker.
Um, right. And so I mean, you'd have to fall 16-ish spots to get back to you. And then I mean, you might as well just take him in the third round if he's there,
Yeah.
right?
Well, all right.
Um,
Yeah. Then it's kind of the same thing. Last in the second or first in the third.
right.
Um,
It just doesn't hurt as bad, I guess, if he's not as good.
so changing up, talking about tech now. Have you
Yep.
seen any videos or heard about the PlayStation? So the people I saw talking about it, they called it the PlayStation handheld console, or
Yep.
Sony's calling it Project Q. If it
Mhm.
is, so you have seen some stuff. Kind of know what I'm talking about.
Uh, I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
I
so
purposely
if it's $200, will you buy it?
yes, but
Oh my god.
there's a couple things to it though, right? Because the problem with PlayStation, because I had their PSP back in the day, right? I love
Yeah.
that thing. The thing was the best thing ever. They stopped too early updating and keeping up with things that are not the PlayStation, right? I feel like there's a little bit of a change in that with the VR side of things, right? Now they have the VR2 coming out.
Yeah.
I feel like might be a whole new thing. Now, it from the thing, some of the stuff that they sounded like it wasn't fully Sony working on this handheld, which what does worry me a little bit. Um, so that's where I kind of am like, maybe not. Um,
See,
it also depends on like what you're gonna get out of it, right? As far as storage space, how about the frame rate, the graphics, that type of stuff too.
like I was hearing, you would to be able to play games on there. You need to have it on your home Wi-Fi. They'd have to be already downloaded on your PlayStation, and then you would play it
Mm-hmm.
over the cloud. Like I don't know, that just kind of sounded like
Okay.
like I don't know, just kind of dumb. Like, I mean, the example a guy gave was like, well, I'm a dad, and I can't really sit at my TV and play, but I can
Yep.
walk around with it and be doing other stuff. And I guess that would be the one time, but still,
Well, yeah. I mean, because that's kind of the same for me, right? Because sometimes I can't get online for you and I to play until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, right? So that's when the kids go to bed and the wife goes and stuff like that. And then I finally get the TV and everything to myself.
yeah.
Um, so I could see that, when my day off, kids, turn on Bluey, whatever, and then I get to play. The problem is that if that's how it is, that integration and that kind of system is already in place where you can do that exact thing on your phone. And if you have an iPhone, you can connect your PlayStation controller to your iPhone, and I think even Xbox controllers, right? And it's legitimately the exact same thing. It just mirrors directly on your phone, and you can play everything exactly how it is, and there's barely any lag, if any. And it's just a smaller screen, and I think you can even do that with like an iPad or something like that.
So
Not that
yeah,
I've tried that.
no, I mean,
Um,
yeah, if you can already do it, all right, with your phone or iPad or tablet, that's
right,
just kind of makes it even just worse to me. See, like
right.
too, you brought up the PSP, and like I would like this system more if it had like a separate library of games, like they were trying to make mobile games or handheld games
Mm-hmm,
like Nintendo used to do with the DS, or they'd have the Wii,
right.
Wii U, and then they'd have the DS. Before that, N64, GameCube for the home console, and then Game Boy at home, and then separate libraries. If they were doing something like that, I'd be more for this. But just to play, just to play your game. Oh, just play PlayStation games like a Switch. No,
Mm.
that's just kind of dumb to me.
See, me, I would want to do it that way because of how expensive games are, right? So, um, or if I could be like, I'm going on my trip, right? And I can go from playing Assassin's Creed, let's say, and on my regular PlayStation, and then I go and I'm going on this trip. I don't have to worry about bringing my big ass PlayStation. I just take this little handheld and I can still play the same thing, and it keeps my save data. That'd be nice, right?
Yeah.
Then, so, and I feel like that is what Nintendo should have gone a little bit more with when it came to the Switch, but you know, that way they could have bettered the graphics. But the main thing for me is how is it going to look, right? Is this just a tablet with the Switch, basically?
That's kind of
I
what
mean,
the Mox,
I,
it looked like,
I
yeah.
have zero interest in. Um, I would just want like a really nice handheld thing, with really good graphics, you know, but you can't get as good quality as you would with a console or a PC in a handheld. It's just not going to happen.
Yep.
So,
Sticking with Sony, you actually kind of brought it up earlier, and I was planning to talk about it. PlayStation VR2. First,
mhm.
to give you guys some background, I remember when we went to the Timberwolves game years ago.
Yep.
That was the first time I ever got to experience PlayStation VR. They had it set up, you waited in line and it was free. And it was like the
Hmm.
most simple game, but like with the
Yep.
sound and it did feel 3D, I was just blown away. Sure enough, bought it. Uh,
Yep.
and
We got tricked.
and like played it a little bit and like the the VR was good and the headset, the sound, all that was good. It was just the library of games wasn't that crazy, and eventually with this VR, we got to see some good multiplayer games. Can't always just be single player because some people like me, I don't know, it's just not as fun to play alone. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So, uh, I have never felt so tricked than when we did that,
yeah,
right? Because after that, dude, I could not believe it, right? You and I were playing a multiplayer VR game for the first time ever, right? It was one of the first times I ever experienced VR,
yeah,
and it was amazing. Then I bought it, and the graphics were just atrocious. It was nothing like what we played. But I'll say this, right? I have zero interest in the PlayStation VR2. Zero. Not even going to look at it. Because as much hate as Facebook gets, and Meta or whatever, but the Quest 2 is the greatest thing in the entire world, right? You get the full VR game sets, you get some really cool games, you can play super hot and all that, which is cool, but the thing that you were looking for with the multiplayer games, there's a lot of different multiplayer games that you can play and are free. um, like they have a frisbee Tron zero gravity game. It's amazing. It was free, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of options out there where you get full on really good graphics, a 360 view, which the PlayStation VR was not. You had to be sitting on a chair, and if you look behind you, it was dark, you know.
yeah,
Um, so, and with the Quest, there's no cameras you gotta set up like with Jackson's. There's no crazy wires. It's wireless. Um, so if you're going to try to get a VR set, you just got to get that. The
yeah.
PlayStation One for me is not even necessary to look at.
And then like with the VR, we can always bring it up to like how how they're not always the most comfortable on your head. I don't know, maybe the
Yep,
Facebook or Meta one is better, but
it's pretty good.
that was something too. Like, is someone with glasses like I remember putting on the PlayStation one, and like your glasses were literally on the glass inside the
Mm-hmm.
headset. So maybe some design issues just generally with
Yep,
VR and then like it's not that I would get dizzy, but like it feel like I don't know,
motion
30 minutes
sickness.
to an hour of VR is like looking at a computer screen for 8 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it kind of does more work to your eyes or whatever.
Oh, and that was a big thing with the PlayStation VR, right?
Yeah.
Both those issues are different with the Quest. Because Kim also wears glasses. They have a attachment that you put on to the Quest, so it gives you a couple extra inches away from the VR set, but you're still. It doesn't take away the immersion, right? You're not just seeing the black because you have a couple of extra inches away from the screen. Uh, so they actually do a pretty good job with that. And I was feeling a lot of the motion sickness with the PlayStation VR one. The Quest, I don't. It's just more. It's a lot to adjust once you take it off after like an hour of playing. Right? It's like, oh fuck, all right. This is the real world.
Yeah.
This is what things actually look like. It's not animation. It's not whatever. You know. So there is going to be adjustment no matter what for sure. But yeah.
But yeah, you make it sound like right. They had the better. PlayStation had like the cheap VR.
Yep. Oh,
Um,
100%. It's not
so
cheap.
yeah, it's kind of talking about cheap too. At a garage sale recently, I saw it. It was just the PlayStation headset that they had for $15. Didn't have any of the other cords, so I didn't get it. But then too, when I looked at eBay, they were only going for like 30, maybe
Yeah.
$40. Like
It's,
they're 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 pretty much done. It's pretty much a collector's item. I got it back in the box. It's pretty much just a collector's item right now. Because yeah, no one's really playing anything. Last thing to maybe touch on, we're at the 41-minute mark. YouTube in the news blocking users from using ad blockers. So maybe not everybody, but some people were getting this screen basically that were using ad blocker saying, "Hey, we can tell that you're using ad blocker. If you want to be on YouTube, basically get rid of the ad blocker." Any as someone that uses YouTube Red, right? Any
yep.
any thoughts there?
I mean, I pay for it specifically because I can't stand the ads. And I watch YouTube on multiple different devices, even my TV. And then I even pay for like Amazon Prime, so I get the Twitch and no ads. Too for at least one channel. So I don't really dive into the ad blockers too much because for me they only barely work as it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes you open yourself up to viruses when you're using stuff like
Exactly. A lot of those are just yeah.
that. So I feel like if you're using an ad block and you're working a little too hard to not get ads when you can just skip after 5 seconds, typically anyway. And you just your PC can just get viruses. So I feel like it's stupid anyway, but people
And
do what they
like
do.
too, right? You'd have to get ad blocker on every device that you watch YouTube on. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's supposedly too YouTube now. They're doing really good with ads and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Making a lot of money, or a lot more than before.
Right.
So that's probably if someone's seen this too.
I feel like too, if you are somebody that watches YouTube a lot, and then you also have like Spotify for your music or whatever, you just pay for the YouTube Premium, which is basically the same price as having Spotify. Not only do you get the free no ads, but you also get the YouTube Music, and you get a lot of movies too for free. So it's worth the $15 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there. Right, it'd be a better deal. It's like every time I buy a Samsung too, it's always like, oh, or they always like some kind of deal like, oh, free 6 months of Spotify, and then I never use it.
And also like with my YouTube, right? There's a YouTube benefits page, and I've gotten over a year free of the Apple TV and Apple Care and all that stuff, all for free. And that's just because I pay for the YouTube Premium. So Works out.
Not bad.
Pays for itself.
Not bad. Not bad. But yeah, I think too. Now that YouTube does this, just wait. I bet every website now, all their Twitter, Facebook, everyone using ad blocker. It's just gonna get screwed.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. So,
Yeah.
and technology is getting smarter too, so they're going to be able to tell. And they probably already know when people are using ad blocker anyway, so it is what it is.
Well, otherwise, yeah, 45-minute mark. That's what I had. Do you have any anything in the news that you wanted to talk about?
Nope. I would just say, usual stuff. You can always just find me on Real Legacy on YouTube, and you can also add me on other places as well, Twitter and so on.
I should add that to the bio. I'm making a mental note now. I got both their Twitters in the bio on everything.
Perfect.
I got like a copy and paste thing, but yeah, I'll have to add your YouTube.
And then as always, check out your Etsy shop because I always check
our sponsor, Vince's Man Cave.
Yeah. Because there is actually a lot of really cool stuff at really good pricing and so on. So definitely something to keep a lookout for sure. And then, but otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just send it too. Yeah, if there's ever anything in the news you want us to talk about, leave a comment. And,
definitely.
Yeah, have a good one.